This book is about the Trojan horse legend. The book consists of 9 chapters. The names of the chapters are as follows: 1. Legend and Heroes. 2. The Golden Apple. 3. Paris and Helen. 4. The War Begins. 5. A Duel for Peace. 6. Hector and Trojan Hero. 7. Death of the Heroes. 8. The Wooden Horse. 9. The Fall of Troy. This chapter discusses what the book is about. City of Troy is now in Turkey. Once upon a time, the Greeks lived there. In ancient times, the Greeks had many gods. Zeus was the most powerful and great god. He was the lightning god. His wife's name is Hera. Their daughters Athena and Aphrodite were also gods. Athena was a god of war and wisdom. Aphrodite was a god of beauty. How do you think an apple can be a game per country? After this section, you will see what an apple causes. A man named Ares comes to an uninvited wedding and brings a golden apple. He says she brought this apple to the most beautiful woman. There is an argument between 3 female gods. Each of them claims to be most beautiful. Actually, Aphrodite was the most beautiful. Zeus sent them to a man named Paris to stop arguing. Says Paris will make the right decision. They go to Paris. Each promises Paris, but Aphrodite promised to marry Helen, a beautiful woman, if she gives him the apple. Paris gives the apple to Aphrodite. The Trojan king Priam organized a race in honor of his missing son. Paris was very good at sport, one without any difficulty. When Priam's son tries to kill him, an old man stops him. He says, "Paris is your son." It really was. That night, Paris suddenly awoke and saw Aphrodite. Aphrodite had come to keep his promise. Spoke about Helen. Helen was married. She was queen of Sparta. The next day, on the pretext of Paris, he went to visit the Spartan king Menelaus. As soon as he saw Helen, he fell in love with him. Aphrodite enchanted her and Helen fell in love with her. They ran away together. Menelaus was very angry and prepared the ship. The ships arrived at Troy 3 weeks later. The war made Hera and Athena happy because they still hated Paris. Achilles was the strongest fighter. It was very important for the Greeks. Agamemnon, another powerful warrior, kidnaps a girl and asks for money. But even if paid, she won't let her go. Achilles is very angry with this. He says he won't fight for the Greeks again. Greeks are getting weaker. The people of Troy use it to strike. Paris goes to the battlefield looking for a rival. Menelaus sees him and he is very angry. When Paris sees her, she gets scared and retreats. 2 leaders want Paris and Menelaus to duel. Whoever wins will take Helen and the war will be over. Both sides agreed, 2 face to face. Menelaus wins, but Aphrodite doesn't let Paris die. The war was actually over, but Hera and Athena did not agree. They did their best and the war flared up again. Hector was Priam's son. He is a very strong warrior. He took his little boy in his arms and said, "You will become a Trojan hero." It was kind of a farewell, because he had no choice. but to fight to the end. The Greeks suddenly attacked, but Hector was ready. They repulsed them. Patroclus was Achilles' best friend, came to him for help, but Achilles refused. He gave his armor to his friend. He told his friend to be careful. Achilles' armor was special and no sword could pass through it. Patroclus went to war. Patroclus' horse-drawn carriage collapsed. His helmet fell to the ground. Hector took the opportunity and killed him. News of his friend's death reached Achilles. He got very angry and vowed to avenge his friend. His armor was made by the gods. Achilles went to his mother and asked the gods to make for her again. His mother agreed, but there was no need for it because his mother dipped Achilles in the Styx river as a child. Nothing could sink into your skin, only the ankle was a weak spot. When Achilles found out about this, he immediately jumped on the battlefield. He was like an angel of death. He killed everyone who came to his way. But the real target was Hector. They finally came face to face with Hector. Hector fought well, but it was impossible to stand in front of Achilles. Achilles killed him. Body was displayed around Troy. It's been a long time, but still didn't want to give the body. Achilles was no longer loved by the Greeks. The body was supposed to be delivered. The gods were also very angry. One day Achilles said, "Look how strong I am. I can beat even gods." This time it was extreme. The sun god Apollo heard this word. Paris was a very skilled archer. He fired a poisoned arrow and Apollo hit Achilles' heel. Achilles is dead. His death shocked the Greeks. One day a skilled archer shot Paris and Paris died. Odessa was one of the smartest Greeks. Disguised as a slave, he entered Troy and walked there for a while. After a while he saw Helen. Helen recognized him. They talked for a while. Odessa has not seen her husband and children in more than 10 years. Odessa said to Helen, "I know how to win the war." The next day Odessa revealed the plan to other soldiers. They cut 50 large pine trees. After a while they made a great wooden horse, can accommodate 30 people. Top 30 warriors entered a horse with Odessa. They left the Trojan horse in front of the city. 10 years later, the Greeks were gone. Everybody was happy. They saw the horse as a godsend for them and brought it to the city. "You can't trust the Greeks," said an old man from Troy, but nobody listened. Aphrodite cast a spell on Helen, and Helen managed to make the voice of Odessa relatives and other soldiers. He went to a horse and spoke with the soldiers. Odessa and the soldiers cried, but realized it was a trap. In the middle of the night, Greek ships suddenly attacked. All the guards were sleeping. Most died before waking up. The soldiers inside the horse heard voices. They just got off and opened the gate of the city. Greek's army entered the city. They have been waiting for this moment for 10 years. They killed everyone that came to them, except for women and children. There were exceptions. Hector's baby was thrown off the castle walls and killed. Achilles' son killed Priam. The city collapsed. Once again, the mind has won the war.